You ever come home so tired you can barely see straight, like your back's shot, your clothes smell like fried circuits and cheap plywood, and all you want is to sneak into your house, crack open a cold beer, and check on your girls? Yeah, well, picture this. I pull up to my place just after midnight, and what do I see blocking my driveway? Bold as you please. A white Lexus SUV, not a speck of dust on it, vanity plate, shining PRNCPL1 angled so neat you couldn't squeeze a skateboard past on the grass. Tucked under my windshield wiper, a note written in handwriting so prissy it probably went to private school. Maybe now you'll learn some respect for your neighbors. A concerned citizen. Let me back up a sec. Name's Marcus Brennan. I'm 45, union electrician, single dad, raising two daughters, Emma and Sophie, both 16, the pride and the headache of my life. In the same old Millbrook Heights house my mama Eleanor bought back in '78 for 32 grand. She raised me here after my old man decided fatherhood cramped his style, worked double shifts at the textile mill, hands so rough they could sand wood, but still gentle enough to braid my little sister's hair. She taught me hard work and decency were worth more than any trust fund, and when she passed 3 years back, I got the house and the duty to keep our roots right here. But this old blue-collar neighborhood, it changed on us. Used to be electricians, nurses, teachers, the kind of place you'd smell Mrs. Hernandez's garlic and cumin drifting through the fence every night and hear Mr. Hudson bragging about his tomatoes come July. Then property values tripled overnight, and suddenly young professionals started rolling in with ideas about who belonged where. That's how Dr. Patricia Whitmore came to buy the big Victorian across the street, dropped $400,000 13 times what my mama paid. She's a school principal turned amateur real estate mogul, blonde bob designer, blazers, struts around like she's reviewing troops, heels clicking at 6 a.m. like an alarm clock nobody asked for. Now, 3 weeks before the Lexus stunt, Patricia knocks on my door at dinner time. Arms crossed, fake smile dialed up, not even a hello. She tells me, "We need to discuss your truck." My work van company logo's up to code parked on my own damn property. It's lowering property values, she says syrupy but sharp commercial vehicles don't belong in residential neighborhoods. And the way she said some people I've heard that dog whistle before, usually from folks who never had to scrub engine grease out of their fingernails. Next thing I know, she's running a full-blown harassment campaign. City complaints about my mama's 30-year-old flower beds. Bogus health department calls about a bird bath fire inspectors showing up to check for violations. Cost me $400 in lost wages, and every official left shaking their heads, nothing wrong. Then she starts a Facebook group, Millbrook Heights Community Standards, but only invites folks she deems the right kind of neighbor. She posts pictures of my work van with captions about commercial intrusion and compromising residential character. Yeah, that happened. But the real masterpiece, Patricia hosts a neighborhood improvement meeting at her place, only invites her chosen few, not the working families, not the Hernandezes, not Mr. Hudson. It was clear she wanted us to know our place. So back to that midnight. I'm staring at her Lexus, that note, and I'm dead on my feet. Part of me wants to storm over and pound on her door, but I know that's what she's fishing for. Blue-collar guy goes nuts on defenseless professional lady, cue police, cue drama. Instead, I call the non-emergency line, keep my cool. And Officer Martinez, good guy, his brother's in my union, shows up and basically tells me there's nothing the law can do. It's a civil matter, call a tow. Randy from Rise Recovery comes by, but he won't tow it. Patricia already bribed him to stay away, double his rate. That's when I realized this wasn't petty, it was planned. She wanted to teach me a lesson. Fine. If she wants to play chess, I'll learn to play too. So I called Jake Kowalski, neighbor, part-time landscaper. At 6 a.m., he rolls up with premium mulch cedar timbers, and we start building flower beds, horseshoed perfectly around her Lexus. 18 inches clearance, not an inch less. It looked like better homes and gardens exploded in my driveway. Mrs. Hernandez brings coffee. Mr. Hudson inspects our handiwork. When Patricia comes out in her robe at 9 a.m., she sees her status symbol boxed in by a garden masterpiece. She shrieks, calls it vandalism, claims harassment, entrapment. I just water the petunias, tell her, just improving the neighborhood, Patricia. Thought you'd appreciate the boost in property values. Whole neighborhood gathers neighbors, admiring the work, kids peeking out windows, nobody siding with her. But 3 days later, City Code, Health Department, and Fire all show up anonymous complaints about unpermitted landscaping and emergency access. They find nothing again, but I lose another chunk of my paycheck for the privilege. That stings, not gonna lie. But you know what I remember from union days? FOIA requests. Turns out anonymous complaints aren't so anonymous when you know how to look. $5 later, every complaint traced straight to Patricia's phone. Now she's building my case for me. I go full documentation mode, install cameras, save footage, organize every incident with dates, photos, witness statements. My girls help Emma reads property law. Sophie logs everything in a spreadsheet. And the best part, our old survey says my driveway goes 3 feet further than Patricia thought. Knowledge is power. Patricia doesn't back off. Now she parks her Lexus right up on my property line every few days, hoping to provoke. I counter by parking my work truck to block her view. Completely legal, drives her nuts. She starts documenting me with her phone stands in my driveway, muttering about evidence. It'd be funny if it wasn't so nuts. But then Thursday night, I'm helping Sophie with homework when 2 squad cars pull up, sirens, lights, the whole 9 yards. Someone called 911, said I was threatening with tools, waving a crowbar, shouting. I show Officer Martinez the security footage, me stirring sauce in the kitchen the whole time. Patricia's out front screaming the cameras are fake. Martinez isn't buying it. He warns her about false reports, and the neighbors step up to back my story. Mrs. Hernandez offers testimony. Mr. Hudson wields his pruning shears like a badge of truth. Even the Kowalskis, who usually keep quiet, say Patricia's frightening everyone. Ralph Torino, my union's lawyer, tells me, "Don't file yet, Marcus. Let her dig her own grave." And boy, does she. Next day, every mailbox but mine gets a flyer printed warnings about declining property values, unlicensed contractors. Mr. Hudson spots it as mail tampering, a federal crime. Cameras catch Patricia stuffing flyers at 2 a.m. And then digging through property records for a fence project, I hit gold. Patricia's mortgage covenant requires her to consult neighbors before filing complaints. Every bogus complaint violated her own deed. Mrs. Peterson, the woman who sold Patricia her house, gives me even more. Turns out Patricia's mortgage company put the covenant in after a lawsuit for harassing neighbors at her last address. I call West Hartford, talk to the Morales family. Patricia tried to destroy their landscaping business, filed fake complaints, drove them out. The pattern is clear as day. So we build the fence neighborhood BBQ. 23 families show up, even folks I barely know. Mrs. Hernandez organizes food. Mr. Hudson supervises engineering. Emma and Sophie catalog every moment, proof of community support. Patricia, meanwhile, files an emergency injunction, tries to stop us with drama about emergency vehicle access. Her lawyer requests the judge, who turns out to be the dad of a kid at her school, so he recuses himself. The new judge, Judge Santos, doesn't suffer fools. She sees Patricia's history, the covenant, our evidence, and tosses Patricia's request with a warning about sanctions. Saturday fence goes up, 8-foot cedar, straight as a ruler, beautiful as a magazine cover. Patricia melts down, tries to sabotage, pokes holes in my hose, lets air out of my truck tires, tampers with my gate. But her big mistake. She calls my boss, tries to get me fired with fake complaints. Pete Kowalski, my supervisor, is Mrs. Kowalski's son. He calls me laughing. She picked the wrong guy. Patricia goes further. Fake reviews online, claims I'm dangerous, damaged property. But corporate security traces it all back to her same phone number, same writing style. When union reps show up at Patricia's door to consult about labor relations, she loses it, tries to backtrack, but the damage is done. We take her to court. 47 pages of evidence, false reports, vandalism, mail tampering, workplace harassment. The whole neighborhood shows up, TV cameras rolling. Judge Santos listens to Ralph present everything, then hears Mrs. Peterson testify about Patricia's promises, her mortgage restrictions, the prior lawsuits. School district's attorney even appears. Patricia's facing termination for bias against working class families. And then Patricia breaks on the stand, admits on camera she was protecting standards. Some people need to understand their place. The judge isn't having it. Restraining order, mandatory counseling, nearly $3,000 in damages, and any violation means jail. The court cheers. Patricia tries to confront me on the courthouse steps, gets slapped with contempt. The district fires her within days. 3 days later, for sale sign on her lawn. 6 months on Millbrook Heights is peaceful again. Mrs. Hernandez's cafe con leche in the air. Mr. Hudson's jasmine blooming. The fence stands proud. 3 more neighbors have upgraded theirs, property values up 15%. We use Patricia's restitution and union donations to start a scholarship for working class kids, honoring my mama's name. Mrs. Peterson cries at the ceremony, "Your mother would be proud, Marcus. That's real justice." Dr. and Mrs. Patel move into Patricia's old house, real neighbors who want to belong. My career's never been better. Pete promotes me to crew chief. Our story gets used as a case study for unions and insurance. Emma and Sophie teach other kids about civil rights and legal protection. I get elected to the neighborhood board, make sure everyone, working class or not, is welcome and protected. Here's the punchline. Patricia's crusade to drive me out only made me stronger, made us all closer. The woman who tried to teach me my place ended up losing hers. And now, every time I see that cedar fence, I remember working families who document everything and stand together. We can beat entitled bullies every single time. So what would you do if someone tried to push you out of your own community? Ever dealt with a Patricia? Drop your story below. Let's show folks they're not alone. And if you want more stories about fighting back with justice, solidarity, and a little bit of neighborly mischief, hit that subscribe, turn on notifications, and stick around, because the next tale, trust me, is just as wild. Justice tastes better when you serve it together. Thanks for listening.